It's Mundo in the Morning. Now on FM at 95.7. Set a preset on your radio. KCMO Talk Radio.
Every Friday morning, we love having an in-studio guest for a half hour on KCMO, and there is no shortage of things to get to with Missouri 5th District Congressman Mark Alford on KCMO. You also hear Mark Alford's America airing Saturday afternoons and Sunday morning here on 95.7 FM. How are you, my friend? Good to see you.
Pete, so good to be with you here in studio. Looking forward to our conversations. A lot to talk about today. I just got back from the state fair. Everything's good in Sedalia, the 4th Congressional District of the great state of Missouri. The farmers are doing great. We got a lot of wins for the One Big Beautiful Bill to help out our farmers and producers and to reform the SNAP program in America.
That's right. That is your home. And I apologize. Yeah. We were just talking off air about the 5th Congressional District, so I introduced you out of the wrong district. I apologize for that.
I didn't even hear that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. No. I thought you were doing the polite thing where you correct me without saying you're correcting me.
I thought maybe it's a Freudian slip. I don't know.
No, we'll get to that because obviously there's a lot of conversation around what these districts in Missouri might look like. But State Fair, of course, that is in your home district. How was it? Kehoe's been down there. I talked to Scott Fawn last week. It's a who's who in Missouri down that way.
I did a little interview with Scott the other day. Look, every politician in Missouri is at the State Fair on legislative day, and even more so in election years. This was an off year, but it's great. The governor's ham breakfast, some of the saltiest ham I've ever had in my life. But you don't go there for the ham. You go there to support our governor, to hear what other legislators have to say. We had a big luncheon yesterday with Senator Hawley. We take part in that. Senator Schmidt does a little event. It's just a good chance to get together and support our producers and the future farmers of America, which I think are a great beacon of hope for America.
I heard Governor Kehoe yesterday. Of course, he's getting asked about everything, including the Chiefs and the Royals and what that future might be. And he just sounds exhausted by the whole topic. Do you ever read from him on what's going on that front?
He is working so hard, and we text and talk. I saw him at the White House a couple of weeks ago advocating for a replacement for the A-10 program at Whiteman Air Force Base, and I'm still fighting for that as well. I think he's doing a great job. He's got a lot of people coming at him from different angles. He's trying to increase our foreign markets trade that we do, especially with our farming products. I think he's realizing now the tough job that Mike Parson had. It's a lot different being lieutenant governor. David Wassinger was there yesterday than it is being governor. But Governor Kehoe, and this is why I endorsed him, he is a person who can actually govern. He gets it done. He's talking with people, and he's bringing people together.
I got to imagine that when you guys visited, the possibility of redistricting may have come up because this would have a big impact on you. And it sounds like coming up next month, when they get down there to Jeff City for veto session, they may redraw these maps, and that changes life for you potentially. So do you like this move?
Well, look, first and foremost, I'm staying out of this. This is between the governor and the state legislature. You know, they tried to come up with a map in 2022. I've looked at that. Other than that, I really don't have any information to give your viewers on what this could look like. It would impact our district. I think if you start trying to divvy up the 5th Congressional District or change the scope of that, it might possibly increase our area to the north into Kansas City, but I don't know that for sure. I will tell you this, Pete, two things. Number one, I've known Reverend Cleaver for a long time. He was mayor when I first got here as a news anchor at Fox 4. We've been friends. I see him on the plane all the time. We have our delegation lunch all meets together at the Capitol once a month. We talk about issues, keep politics out of it, talk about our family. I know his wife, Diane. This is not a personal thing, for me anyway. This was not my idea. This was the White House's idea, I think, to try to garner some more seats in Congress to make sure that in 2027, when we get a new Congress, the 120th, that Hakeem Jeffries is not the Speaker of the House. And that is so important. We've got to make sure because everything's going to be about impeachment if this happens. So I'm staying out of this. I know I like to say that I'm the most accessible congressman in Congress, and I try to be one of the hardest working. I've got a great staff here in the district and in D.C. We're all over our district, 24 counties, And no matter where the lines are drawn, I will promise people this. I will serve them like I've served the 772,047 individuals. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independents, politically agnostic. Our team will fight for you. Our team will work for you to make sure that you get the dollars that the federal government is holding on, that's your money. We've returned $7.5 million so far. And once you're elected, you become the congressperson for that entire district. We are not going to agree on everything. There are people in my district now who don't like me.
Yeah,
but that's
seen those videos.
And I'm going to be seeing them on our town hall tour in 2 weeks. We're doing 15 stops. I'm one of the few Congress members who are doing, Republicans anyway, doing town hall tours. But I want to hear what people have to say.
Have you talked to Congressman Cleaver about this possibility?
I have not.
Okay.
I want to talk to him in person, though.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to do that. I do want him to know, and if he's listening, this was not my idea, Reverend. And I do want to have a conversation with him about it. Politics is it's a different kind of business. I've never been in politics before. I've been in television. I've seen some anchors come in and squeeze out other anchors.
They're both dirty. Let's be honest. Politics and media, they're both dirty.
It is. It's kind of a dirty business.
Yeah.
But my dedication is to our district, number one, to Missouri, number two, to America, and making sure that we keep Donald J. Trump going in the forward direction with what we can do in Congress to make sure that his agenda, the America First agenda, gets passed. Just look what's happened, Pete, in the first 8 months of his presidency. It is amazing what is happening right now. He's going over right now to talk to Putin in Alaska to try to get the killing to stop, number one, and then work from there, I think, in later meetings and negotiations as to what the future of the Ukraine-Russia border will look like.
Before we get to a break here in a couple of minutes, you mentioned your town halls coming up. I know that Republicans have been, it seems like, advised to not do these after, I saw the guy up in Nebraska.
Mike Flood,
he went viral because he had a bunch of hecklers there. Are you not worried about it, or are you just saying
we're going to have hecklers?
You're going to have them.
You saw what happened to me in March at the coffee shop in Belton.
Yep.
I think I did okay answering every question. The problem is the legacy media won't portray it that way, because they will just show the hecklers, and the hecklers are the people who are disgruntled, and they're not all hecklers and not all paid protesters. There are people with legitimate concerns, and I want to hear those. But the people who make the loudest noise and say the most ridiculous things get the coverage, and that's the way it's spun in the media. They don't typically cover it, although the KC Star and some other stations here in town, when I had mine, they were fair, and they said that I answered the questions, and I did a good job maintaining my composure. And I think my time on television has helped me in doing that. We just had one with KCUR last month, or maybe a little longer than that. I stayed there for an hour and a half and answered every question. I will do the same, but I also know that people want to vent, and that's okay. If you want to come there and scream and get on TV, C-SPAN has actually just contacted us and wants to cover ours in Bolivar that we're going to be having on this town tour. I said, yeah, come on. I want people to see what really goes on there.
Yeah, no, that's great. Here's the thing, though. To your credit, you do a KCUR town hall. I would love to get some of the folks who represent this area on this show, and they don't do it. I just anecdotally feel, and I think that you see this too in media in general, Republicans are more willing to go onto perceived adversarial media outlets than Democrats are. I don't think that's even all that controversial of a statement. Is that your read on it?
It is my read, and I went on KCR while advocating for the rescission package.
Yes,
defunding.
Yes, to defund NPR.
And we talked about that. Steve Kraski's a friend of mine. I've known him I used to do a show on PBS with Nick Haynes, the Roundtable show. I think you've been on that before. But look, I want to win people over.
Yeah.
I don't want to just preach to the people who are watching Fox News, OAN, RAV. I'm on those shows, but I want to be on CNN. I want to be on MSNBC. I want to be challenged because it helps me really clarify where I am on the issues and help communicate those more effectively. But I also know that if we're going to win people over with argumentation and rational thought, We've got to be able to articulate those ideas, and you can't stay in an audience that's becoming more and more rarefied and sometimes hate-filled. And that's how, if it comes to redistricting, that's how I want to approach that. I want to be the congressman for everyone. I will uphold my conservative values, and I will continue to vote in a conservative manner, but I'm also a listener and want to bring a little healing, I think, to the political world in our nation.
We are continuing in studio with Mark Alford, Missouri's 4th Congressional District on KCMO. You hear his show coming up tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, and then again on Sunday morning at 8:30. So, Congressman, let's just go to Air Force One. President Trump right now is on his way to Anchorage, Alaska, to meet with President Putin. They will meet at 2 o'clock Central Time today, try to bring an end to the Russia-Ukraine war. You're obviously well aware of what's going on. What ideally comes out of this meeting today?
Well, I heard your previous guest, the general, and I'm spot on in agreement with him. And this is about ceasefire at this point. We've got to stop the killing. President Trump has been adamant from even before he got into office that that's what he wanted to do. Ideally, I think, he would like to help negotiate some settlement. Look at the peace. Who would have thought that President Trump would be the peacemaker?
Yeah.
What has he ended, like 7 or 8 wars now since he's been? And and that's not why he's doing this. It's not to just add another notch in his belt. The killing is ridiculous, and so he wants to bring an end to that. And so I think what's happened now is that the pressure exerted by President Trump on Vladimir Putin is unsustainable. Let me tell you why. The deal that he made with NATO about a month ago, saying that, hey, we are not going to invest any more U.S. taxpayer dollars for now. We've, invested like $300 billion, some of it unaccounted for. But we are going to sell NATO countries, which we have encouraged strongly to up their defense spending, use some of that money to buy armaments from us, Patriot missile batteries, ATACMS, other equipment. Then they will give that to Ukraine. Okay, so it's a win-win for America. We're building more munitions. We are resupplying our older munitions and giving them the older ones, selling European countries. I've just got back from Greece and Italy, and they're very much involved, meeting with NATO partners there on this. Then they are going to supply Ukraine with this. So Putin knows this is coming, right? Mm-hmm. He knows that there is going to be an increase in armaments that will go into longer range strike capabilities than what they have right now. So that's one thing. I think there's also economic pressure on Putin that he has not felt heretofore. The sanctions that President Trump has threatened, I mean, they have them already written out. I think Scott Bessent has them ready to present to him today should this go south. But also, Joe Biden let the Nord Stream 2 pipeline go through where Russia is selling natural gas to Europe, and they're using that to fund this war. When we were over in Greece last week, we met with some folks there in the embassy, and in the northern part of Greece is a town called Thessaloniki. For Thessalonians, Thessalonica it used to be called. That's where we get the book in the Bible, Thessalonians. But they are building a system there now. We are going to transport our LNG to the ports there, and they're building a pipeline north, a vertical pipeline to Europe, and the northern Europe, central and northern, and that will help supplant and take away some of that money that's funding the war. So Putin is on the ropes here. I think he's at the point where he is going to make a deal of some sort. He's going to want to keep eventually. I think Crimea, Obama pretty much gave that up in 2014 and did not do anything about the takeover then. The question now is the Donetsk region, Donbass. How much will Putin actually retain? Zelensky, he is going to face an election after this war is over, and he doesn't think he can win if any land is ceded to Vladimir Putin. So it's kind of a sticky wicket. If there's someone in America, though, who can get this done and bring these two sides together to end this, it's Donald Trump.
And the president's saying that he'll know in 2 minutes if this was a waste of his time or not. As someone who's been in interactions with him, it does seem like he gets a read on the situation and the people very quickly. And it just seems like he also moves through things incredibly fast. I don't know if it's partially ADD or whatever it is, but he just keeps it moving. He knows what he's there for. He knows if he's going to be able to get something done. And if not, he's out. He's not going to waste his time. Is that your perception on this based on interactions with the president?
I have never seen anyone who can read people the way that Donald Trump reads people. He's pragmatic, sometimes reactionary. But that is why he's been a success in his businesses. And I know people criticize him for his bankruptcies, but he used the law and bankruptcy law to build his businesses. And now he's using every tool that we can, every arrow in his quiver to rebuild the U.S. economy that Joe Biden destroyed. And tariffs is one of them. And I know there's a lot of consternation over the tariffs right now, but look at I think it was $50 billion just last month that it brought in. This is going to be able to ease, I think, in the president's mind, our reliance off the income tax. And I project, and I think President Trump has signaled that for some segments of our population, the income tax as we know it today will be non-existent.
Sign me up for that. We got a couple of minutes here, and I know that you've got a big show planned. I just got it from one of your staffers. And Mark Alford's Capital Report airing tomorrow afternoon at 1, Sunday morning at 9:30 here on KCMO. You are going to go through something that has been very controversial within Republican circles. That is the Jeffrey Epstein files. In the next 90 seconds or so, what should we expect?
Well, look, I go through 5 points of why I believe that the DOJ, our government should release the Epstein files. I think it is a matter of, I think the future of our country depends on being transparent. I would like them to be transparent on all files, MLK file, the JFK file. But there are so many questions around this, and the Democrats and progressives are using this as a bludgeoning tool against Republicans and against this administration. Let's clear the air. The president sees it as a distraction, and it has become a distraction. But I have, from the day one, when I signed off the air almost 4 years ago now at Fox 4, the very last words I said were, truth is the only thing that matters. That's what I had been about at Fox 4, trying to impart the truth to my viewers who I saw as clients. I think the president and the Department of Justice owes it to the American people to do the same, to have transparency in this matter. And I go through these 5 reasonings on my show tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Mark Alford's Capital Recap, of why I believe it and what steps should be taken.
There you go. We'll be listening, Congressman, and we'll be following those town halls. I'm sure it could get a little rowdy.
Yes, be praying for me, and patience mostly. You know, I tend to get a little smart alecky in some of these, and I later apologized to people. I said, but it's kind of a defense mechanism on my part. I'll try not to be defensive and just listen and respond.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I like it. We'll be praying. Mark Alford on KCMO. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you, Pete.